Hi stream, I'm CWolfPilot. I'm going to be playing Zoids Battle Legends. We're going to be doing the Republic Mission Mode speedrun for you guys today. If you're not familiar with Zoids at all, I think you're really in for a treat. This really is a gem of an anime, and the speedrun does not get enough attention. So we're just going to jump right into it, and we'll keep talking as we go. So, alright, timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so we are going to be playing as the Republic's Blue Unicorn team. We're going to start out as Shoma, who is the newest member of the Blue Unicorn team, and our first job is to find the rest of our teammates. They really said, hey Shoma, we don't know if the rest of your team is alive, but we're putting you on this team. So, that's great. First Zoid we're going to use is the Cannon Tortoise. You would think this is a speedrun, why are we using a tortoise? Turns out this thing is faster than just about everything else in this game because of the booster. Mission 1, pretty simple, not a whole lot to talk about. Okay, we're just doing a 1v1 against the main character from the Empire speedrun, actually. His name's Kooky Demon, and he is in fact a Kooky Demon, but we're just gonna walk up to him, and once his shield goes down, we're just gonna beat him over and over again. And our goal is to just unlock this man and not let him do anything. So, no, he got away. But no, he didn't. He came right back to me. So, Zoids, for those of you who are unfamiliar, we are on the planet Z. We are piloting a giant turtle mech right now, but there's other animals, obviously. And these are called Zoids. They're like semi-sentient creatures that people took and used them for war, because of course we do. I missed that attack. It's fine. Alright.
Different result next time we meet.
Mission accomplished.
So, anytime you see text on the screen, like between missions, I can skip that just by pressing start. I'm not mashing or nothing. I mean, it'd be cool if I could mash that fast, but I can't, so. Alright. Mission 2 has a special little quirk in it that I'll talk about when I'm done setting up. Give me a second. So, the objective of this mission, we've walked into an enemy base, and we've walked into a Republic base and it's under attack. So, what we need to do is we need to take out 5 enemy Zoids. Now, the thing is, we have to take out the 5 enemy Zoids. We can't let them kill each other like we can in some other levels. If they team kill each other, it's an immediate time loss for us, so we really don't want that happening. So, the main strategy I'm going to be using is to just shoot them a bunch. If I get in range for a melee, I can actually prevent a knockdown that way by mixing melees and ranged weapons, but the strikers float above the ground, so they're a little tricky to do sometimes. The other thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be target switching. I just got bodied. That's not great. The other thing I'm going to be doing is target switching, so there's not a whole lot of downtime where I'm not dealing damage. And as I say that, I knocked the Zaberfang down like I didn't want to do. There we go. So, there's 2 different kinds of stuns in this game. There's knockdowns, and there's stuns, and then there's actual knockdowns. Stuns just lock them in place for a second. It doesn't actually interrupt my damage flow. Whereas knockdowns, I can't actually damage the enemy during a knockdown. So I try to avoid knockdowns wherever I can. It's a little trickier than it sounds. There's some RNG to it. It is what it is. There's a lot of, like, surprisingly RNG things in this game. That was pretty good, though. Alright. There's a lot of little RNG things that you wouldn't necessarily think about. AI behavior, whether or not we get knockdowns. It can be kind of a slog sometimes because of it, but that's okay. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite games. My brother and I got into Zoids when we were growing up. When I wanted to get into speedrunning... Oh, that's not what I need to do. There we go. When I wanted to get into speedrunning, this was my first choice, so... really appreciate all the guys in the AS Discord. They've all been super supportive. I want to give a special shout out to the OG Zoids GOAT, Zara, who was the world record holder before me. I still use so much of his stuff in my routes that these runs would not be where they are today without him. So shout out to Zara, shout out to the entire AS Discord. So this level is an auto-scroller. Well, not really, it's an escort mission, but it may as well be an auto-scroller, because it finishes at the same time every time. And that's always a pain. We love auto-scrollers as speedrunners, right? Everybody loves a good auto-scroller. But I'm going to take the opportunity here. Most of these Zoids are really weak. I'm not super worried about any of the combat here, so I'm going to take a second to tell you guys about the settings screen and how we set up our Zoids. So the setup screen has 3 different sections on it. Well, technically 4, but I don't bother with one of them. That's changing the equipment on Zoids we're not using, and there's no point to doing that. But there's the weapons section, which is where I change my weapons and that loadout. There's the option items, which I'll talk about a little bit later, and then there's the subparts menu. There are 5 different subparts. You can have armor, which increases the your damage resistance. There's generators, which increase the damage you deal. There's plugs, which increase your speed. There's Zoid gear, which increase how fast you turn. And then there are radar items. There's actually like a couple different radar items, but we never use them past like this mission, so I'm not going to bother talking about them, going down them all. But right now our setup is armor, radar item, and plug, because that's all we have available. In general, what we want is we want a plug and as many generators as we can manage, but we don't have any generators available yet, so we got to deal with that. With weapons, there's a couple different kinds. There's homing weapons and then there's standard weapons, really are the 2 kinds. There are some melee weapons, we'll see that here in a little bit, but every Zoid has a base melee that isn't counted as a weapon, so you'll see me switch between ranged weapons and that melee pretty frequently. The way you can tell if a weapon is a standard weapon or a homing weapon is on the bottom right. In my inventory, the green weapon is the one I have equipped. The orange one is an inactive weapon. If it has an H, it homes. If it has an S, it is just a standard shot and I have to actually aim. So, aiming in this game can be rather difficult sometimes because the AI movement is just bonky sometimes, and you really can't predict how they're going to act. There we go. Speak of the devil. There should be one more little caterpillar guy over here. And then we should be getting out of here. I was a little to the left, that's fine. So, I'll be talking more through our setup as we do it in the future. But now we just have to wait for 6:37 on the clock. So we have like 20 seconds where we just can't do anything. So, that's lovely. Don't you just love escort missions? Don't you just love auto-scrollers? Auto-scrollers are a thing that we all love and have to deal with. So, there we go.
Mission accomplished.
Now, this next mission is the first time, actually it's really the only time we're going to see an environmental hazard, and it's the first time that we get an actual ally that's going to help us fight. So, this ally's name is Rainer. If you have ever tuned into one of my streams, you know we don't like Rainer. Rainer likes to do 2 things, and one is jump into the pit and die, and the other is to kill us. The thing is, if Rainer dies in this mission, we lose. So, we don't want that happening. He's a jerk, and he loves to chase things that are already dead down into that pit, so we're going to be doing our very best not to knock anything into the pit. 3, 4, and now we're going to boost, and we're going to jump over this pit here. Alright, we made it. It's a bit of a breath-holding moment, for sure. Because sometimes... Oh, Rainer? Stay away from the pit, dude. So... The ideal strategy for this level would be to get all the Mulgas low without killing them, and then finishing them all off at once. But Rainer makes that impossible sometimes. He's a bit of a jerk. We don't like Rainer here. But we're just going to shoot everything as fast as we can. and hope we don't get too many extra respawns. In general, when there are levels where we have respawning enemies, we want to kill everything all at the same time, because if everything's dead, it won't let you, extra things spawn for the most part. So, bit of bad luck here. We got an extra spawn or two, so a little bit of a long split, but it's fine. So, all right.
Mission
Now,
accomplished.
time for Mission 5. Mission 5 is a point A to point B mission we just have to run. We don't have to think. We don't have to do anything else. You would think we'd want to switch off of the turtle, but no. We used to switch here. We used to switch to a Zoid called the Shadow Fox. Shadow Fox is super cool Zoid, but turns out that the animation when we switch and the terrain in this level's weird. The geometry, you get caught on it if you're actually on the ground. But because the cannon tortoise floats, we don't have to worry about that. So we're just going to jump, and I call it vectoring. I don't really know if there's a term for it, but we're jumping and we're like strafing to the side a little bit. And this is actually way faster. Oh, are you kidding me? That almost never happens. That's unlucky. So that's some free time loss. But this is way faster than just running on the ground. It's way faster than switching to another Zoid. So yeah, Mr. Big Chungus Turtle here he's stupid fast, and that's just how it be. Oh. And now, ideally, I would be trying to jump on like the last frame before my boost runs out. Not necessarily the last frame, but right before it runs out, because that way we get to keep the speed from the boost in the air. So I would actually save a little bit of time if I waited to jump right to the very end. This next level is scary. I die all the time in this mission, and it's because of a Zoid called the Lightning Strike. So we're going to change our setup here just a little bit. We're taking off the radar we had before, and we're upgrading our armor and our plug, and we're adding on a generator. So now we're dealing more damage, our armor's better, and we move a little bit faster. So this one is big scary mission. This Lightning Strike hurts a lot. He can actually take out over half my health with one combo. So we don't really want him doing that. We're going to try our best to stay away from him. We're going to play a little bit safe here and focus on these Sea Strikers, Sinkers as you might have heard them called before. And we're just going to hope our ally distracts the Lightning Strikes, which he's not doing a very good job of right now. But if there's anything that holds true consistently in this game, is that you can't rely on your allies. One of the main things in Zoids is like, oh, we're partners with our Zoids and our friends, and we are not partners with our friends in this game. Our friends get in the way most of the time. So there are a couple outliers to that, but even in the battle mode speedrun, where we're just doing fights, there's no like missions or anything, we choose to run alone because it's faster. Because the other people just get in the way and cause more lag. So, just gonna focus up here for just a second. We haven't taken too much damage. As I say, that Sea Striker behind me gets on me.
Give up! Give up!
But I'm just gonna focus up for a second. Uh-oh. I saw... Oh, that wasn't the Sykes. That was Zan.
Yeah!
Our ally Zan here, if we get in melee range, he likes to hit us. We don't like that. Oh gosh. Come on now. There. I need you to behave. And by behave, I mean die.
Look what I can do. Give up!
Alright, I guess we'll just sit here then. That'll work. Okay, so now that the Sykes or the Sinkers are dead, we need to kill this Lightning Sykes. There's a reason we kill the Sykes fast, even though it's easily the scariest Zoid in this level. You would think we want to take out the scariest thing first. If we kill the Sykes too early, if we kill the Sykes and there are still Sinkers alive, if we haven't killed 4 Sinkers, then the Sykes actually respawns, and it's so tanky that we lose a ton of time if that happens. So we have to kill the Sykes last. We get to leave our biggest our biggest op alive, and it's really scary. So, but we got through, thank God. So now we're going to do another escort mission. Thankfully, this one's not an auto-scroller, and when we beat all the enemies, it's over. But It's another escort mission. We have to prevent them from blowing up our little snail boy, the hover cargo. And by little, I do not mean little. He's actually huge, but... So, there are going to be 3 enemies. Only one of them respawns in this, and it's the Mulga, which is the little caterpillar guy you guys have seen a few times. He's the only one that respawns. We're going to kill him first, for 2 reasons. One, we want to be able to deal damage to the other things while he's respawning. But 2, he actually hurts us really bad. He has missiles, and those missiles will absolutely ruin our day in every way imaginable. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. So while we're in this mission, though, I want to talk more about the option parts of the setting menu. So we have 4 different optional parts, as they're called. The only one you've seen me use so far is the booster, because we want to go fast. The other 3, there's a smoke screen, which you'll see this red horn using. There's mines, which you'll see the dark horn using, and then there is an E-shield. We'll use that a little later. You've seen it on a couple Zoids already. You'll see it on a couple more. We will be using it in exactly 1 level. Otherwise, we're just using the booster. So, the smoke screen is really, really annoying, which is why I'm going after the red horn first, and hit me with it. Great. So the smoke screen actually ruins my lock-on. I can't lock on until it wears off. So we really don't like that thing, and the other thing it does is it makes the level lag really badly. So we want to get rid of this guy first, so that we can reduce the amount of time we have to deal with that. Of course, while he's down, we're going to switch targets for a second, deal some damage to the dark horn so we don't have to 100 to 0 it. And I walk straight into the smoke screen again. Love that from me. Just absolutely stellar execution. So there is one thing I can do when I am unable to lock on. I can still melee, obviously, because don't lock on with your melee. You just get hit right in front of you all the time. The other thing I can do is I can actually switch to my homing weapon, and because the angle of the homing weapon is low enough, I can actually, if I'm close enough, I can actually hit the red horn through the smoke screen while I can't lock on. See if I can get it for you guys. Or he's just going to die. That's fine. That doesn't hurt my feeling. Oh, you still smoke screened me, you little jerk. But now, this dark horn actually is kind of scary. We want to be behind it all the time, but the thing is, it drops mines behind it, and the mines hurt a lot. But believe it or not, the scariest part of the horn is its horn. Don't melee me, please. This is another Zoid that can take out half my health with 1 attack. And we don't like that. We really don't like that. The mines hurt too. I kind of hope he steps on that one. Step on it. Step on it. I'm not going close to him right. Yeah, he stepped on it. That doesn't save me any time at all. I just think it's funny. It actually loses me time because I can't deal damage to him in the meantime. But I think it's funny, so whatever. Bye-bye. Okay, so last couple missions have been kind of stressful. This next one, thankfully, is not. It's kind of unfortunate that it's so unstressful, because this, the enemies in this mission are actually really cool. The Elephander's a really cool Zoid. It's a big elephant boy. You're barely gonna see him. He's gonna. I'm gonna shoot them over the horizon, and you're barely gonna see the second one. You might see the first one for just a second, but it is what it is. We gotta go fast. So, strategy here. I'm gonna switch to my homing weapon. I'm gonna turn to my right, and I'm gonna hold A. Turn to my right, get the lock on. That blue circle means I am locked onto that thing, and now we just hold A. We sit right here. We used to be on a different Zoid by now. We used to be on the Desert Liger, but we found out that this was way faster, and that we didn't lose a whole lot of time on mission 7 by staying on the cannon tortoise. So yeah, we do this now, and it's a lot faster. Anytime we can reduce Zoid switches is usually a good thing, because there's an animation every single time. We lose a couple seconds every time we have to switch Zoids. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to use the cannon tortoise for the entire run, because its damage just starts to fall off too hard when we start getting into the boss fights, which, speaking of, the next level is a boss fight. But we're just gonna sit here, we're gonna kill this thing, and then we'll talk about the next level. So, Really is a nice little break right in the middle of the run where I can just not stress a lot. Now, obviously, we want to reduce knockdowns. Since I'm just holding A, there's not really... In theory, I could do a little better if I, like, went into melee range, but that's a lot more dangerous. The Elephanter hurts a lot, so we don't like to do that. Well, I don't like to do that. Okay. We're actually going to get our first Zoid switch of the run here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to reset our Cannon Tortoise, which we're going to do in the settings menu, which takes off all of the equipment we have equipped. So now we're going to switch to the Liger Arrow, or the Oreo Liger, as I've heard somebody call it before, and I thought that was hilarious, so I'm stealing it. We're going to change one of our weapons, we're going to equip our booster, and now we have 2 generators available. So we're going to go double generator and plug, which is damage, damage, speed. The perfect things for a speed run. Damage, damage, speed. So this is our first boss fight. Yes, Lena's Gun Sniper is in this game, I'm pretty sure. I don't know off the top of my head. This is our first boss fight. This is the Bloody Death Soarer. We're going to run up to this thing. And what you're going to see me do is you're going to see me get in range, and then you're going to see me shoot it, and I'm going to hop to the side. This game has a dodge mechanic with the right stick. It's actually the C stick on the GameCube controller, but I'm playing on an Xbox controller, so right stick. And this is pretty much how we're going to deal with every boss fight. So the main things for boss fights are reducing the amount of time I can't deal damage to it. And the main way I'm going to do that is by just trying to shoot it at the earliest possible time. So after a stun, there's a short recovery period where you can't actually deal damage to the enemy. 1, 2. So that's why you'll hear me counting and stopping and thinking for a second. Ooh, we got the animation lock. Nice. So if you hit the Death Soarers, because there's a couple different Death Soarers, we'll only fight this one in this run. But if you hit them right after they use their Charged Particle Cannon, which is the big pink lemonade gun that shoots out of their mouth, they might, you can lock them into an animation where you can continually damage them, and they just kind of spin in place. It's kind of weird, but... I was early that time, damn it. Okay, couple shots. 1, 2. So I used to just hold A through this mission, and then I realized I was losing ammo, like, really bad. So we don't do that anymore. We have to be smart about the way we consume our ammo. The ways we save time on this mission, other than just being able to deal damage, that guy, that was really weird. That was really weird. He just kept taking damage and just kind of stopped there. We don't hate that, though. So, but the other way we deal more damage is we get our allies to help us, but we can't really control them, so we just hope. Alright, this next level is one of my favorites. We are running up on a base, and we need to defeat the Empire in here. And it's just 2 Zoids. They're called Iron Kongs. They're big gorilla guys. They're pretty cool Zoids. The reason I like this level is because it runs pretty well. There's not a whole lot of lag. Something about this game is it's very poorly optimized. It does not run particularly well. It's worse on GameCube, so that's why I'm running on emulator. Where are you going, sir? But for the most part, this level runs pretty well, and I'm just going to kite these guys in a circle around the center of the map, if they behave, which this guy isn't right now. There we go. That's a little bit better. The ideal is that they're both in front of me, so that I can deal damage to them more easily and target switch, but they're really not behaving for me right now. And there's nothing I can do about that, so I can try and aggro them together, which is what I'm going to try and do here. See if I can hit the guy in the back. Alright, we got him. So hopefully he aggroes to me now and starts to follow me around. If not, we'll just have to kill this one first and then kill the second one. Alright, he's finally behaving, I think. So usually they're a little better behaved than this. Usually they just let me kite them around nicely and everything's great. But we're going to lose a little bit of time here because this one was mean to me. But that's okay. I am attacking him after all, so it's understandable he doesn't want to be nice to me. But Iron Kong, very cool Zoid. The main thing I don't want to do in this mission is get caught between them and let them melee me, because Gorilla Punches hurt, believe it or not. And if there's two on either side of me, they can actually double up their damage until I get stunned, because only the last hit of their melee stuns me. So if I get caught between them, it's bad news bears, but everything worked out. It was a little slow, but that's alright.
Mission accomplished.
So, I don't actually know the story for this next mission, I'm not going to lie. I know we're going into a city, and we're fighting a couple of Rev Raptors and a Genobreaker. That's all I got for you. I don't actually know a whole lot of the story here. So, you're going to see me run up an alley and just ignore the first Raptor. I'll probably take like 1 or 2 shots at him, but I don't want to actually get him too low.
Liger is taking off.
The way this level works is the Raptors have a shared number of spawns. So if I kill them too quickly, I will get extra spawns. But usually this first Raptor here that you're about to see, I can do some damage to. I can actually knock him down most of the time even, and it won't lose me any time. Because it takes long enough to kill the Genobreaker that I can kill the Raptor twice.
Yeah.
And then go find the other one. But I can't take too long to do that either, because that could be bad news bears. We could, in theory, get an extra spawn if we aren't careful. So we knock that down. This guy should be coming around the corner here.
Yeah.
Oh, where are you going?
Yeah.
I don't want to be between them, as usual. And I got kind of hit pretty hard there. That wasn't great. Nice. Good shot. This Genobreaker has the shield. This was one of the other option items I mentioned. Shields are just annoying because they interrupt my damage. That's really all it is. They're a bit of a safety item when we use them. For them, when the enemies use them, it's just annoying, and it interrupts my damage flow. But it's okay, because they're still pretty weak. We're gonna... Actually, yeah, we'll kill you. I had to think about it for a second, because this Genobreaker is actually pretty low already. But we will. It's still going to be safer to kill this Raptor than to try and find the other one. The thing is, if I go try and find the other one, it'll actually... and I fail, I'll actually get 2 extra spawns, and that's even worse. So it's bad enough we already got the one. So, oh, and he's right here. That's beautiful.
I'm gonna hit it.
So now we just take our time, nice and easy, kill this guy, and we should be good. If we're unlucky, we'll get another spawn here. But it shouldn't happen. It's a possibility. Yep, there we go. We're good. Cool, cool, cool.
Mission accomplished.
Alright, so very important thing I need to do during this cutscene is not agree to work with the Empire side, the Rodiger team, because that makes the next missions way harder. So, we're actually about to do another Zoid switch. We're going to switch to my favorite Zoid of the run, which is the CWolf. My favorite Zoid is actually the Command Wolf. We don't get to use it during the run. It's just too slow. It makes me sad, but at least we get to use the CWolf. This thing's a boss-killing beast, and both of the levels we use it for are boss fights. So, yeah, just kind of makes sense. We're going to do the same setup we had on the Liger Arrow as far as our subparts go, which is generator, plug. And we're going to use an interesting strategy here in the first boss fight here, this Stinger fight. So, our main op is called the Death Stinger. There are a bunch of sinkers or sea strikers floating around too, and then there's turrets on this map. But I'm going to ignore all of that and go straight for the Death Stinger. Usually when you're doing boss fights, the strategy is kill the ads, then the boss. Fun fact, these ads will usually kill themselves, and I don't have to worry about it. I can just focus down the boss. Same rules as the Death Soarer fight apply, really. I'm trying to reduce the amount of time I can't deal damage, and then just take advantage where I can and deal damage as early as possible. So, I'm hoping one of them runs into that Death Source, or Death Stinger soon, because it's pretty funny when it happens. And it happens consistently enough that I can rely on it as a strategy. See, 2 out of the 3 there. We love it. And this isn't like M2 where I have to kill all the enemies. They just have to all be dead. So this is actually one of the fastest way. This is actually the fastest way to play this level. Is to just let them kill each other. I shot early there. It's fine. So the main reason this Comic Wolf is a boss killing beast, by the way, is this dual sniper rifle does a ton of damage, and it also swivels really far. It's a standard weapon, so I have to aim it. But because it swivels so far, it's a lot easier than some of the weapons that are fixed straight forward. We'll see one of those later. But die, sir. Die, sir. So now we just need to mob up the Sea Strikers, and that should be the mission right there. Nice, good time.
Mission accomplished.
Alright, we are following up that boss fight with another boss fight. We just fought the Death Stinger, now we're going to fight something called Seismosaurus, which, it's a big Brachiosaurus type Zoid. I actually think it's smaller in this game than it shows up as in the anime, but I don't know that for sure. In the anime, it's got this crazy big gun that can pretty much level an entire continent, but we don't need to worry about that. It's not going to do that to us. So the other thing about this mission is we have the addition of some Mulgas. Mulgas are worse than Sinkers because Mulgas can actually hurt us, and they're not going to end up killing themselves like the Sinkers will. So I'm actually going to run around with some missiles. I'm going to take out these Mulgas, and then I'm going to focus on the Seismo and let the... I'm going to take damage here, actually. It's fine. But we're going to focus on Seismo as soon as I get rid of this other Mulga. The same way we did last mission. Because, once again, we can reliably let the Sinkers just deal damage to themselves and each other. So... with the recovery period where I can't actually hit the enemy, there's actually a visual cue that I can use. It's a lot easier to see on Seismo and Death Stinger than it is on the Death Soar, which is why I count during the Death Soar, and I haven't for this Zoid, and I didn't for Death Stinger. It's the little blue sparky boys. You'll see them here in a second. Those little blue sparks on the Seismosaurus, when those go away, I can pull the trigger and I will deal damage. It's not... I was a little early, but it still works, so I'm fine with it. The Seismosaurus has the same animation lock that the Death Soar has, but it's a little harder to hit. I don't really know why, but I'll get it every now and then. He just doesn't charge Particle Beam as much as the Death Soar does as part of it. But, alright. Hopefully no extra spawns. This thing takes forever to fall over and die, though, is the thing. Oh, nice. Cool. Alright, so now we're going to do another Zoid switch, and you're going to see our first melee focus Zoid of the run. Well, our only melee focus Zoid of the run. We're going to use the Liger Zero Schneider. Shout out to the mod of the Zoids Discord, Liger Zero Schneider. Reset this boy. Switch to Zero Schneider. This thing has blades all over, and we're going to be using those blades to great effect. So we don't need any weapons. We're going to add our booster. We're going to add our generators. And we used to use a Zoid gear here, because the thing about the Schneider is it kind of turns like a semi-truck. It is really slow to turn, which is not great on a melee focus Zoid where I'm trying to turn my blades into them. But in both the levels we use it, we end up having to run far enough that the plug actually, it's just faster, and I just need to play better, and we'll save time. So, I told myself to suck it up, and here we are using the plug in a marathon. So, I want to talk a little bit about where the record is today, actually. So, I'm just going to run past these guys real quick. These attack cats, I really just want them to follow me, but I'm not going to target any of them specifically just yet. The main boss of this level is the Chimera Dragon, which hopefully will be coming onto my radar here soon. There he is. Oh, that's something I haven't talked about yet, is the radar itself. I'll do that here in a second. But we want to just focus this guy down, and then as the cats come, because usually they'll come and they'll hang out with their boss. We'll damage them. But our focus is going to be on the Chimera. Because the Chimera doesn't actually respawn, and it's the biggest boss in this thing. And we can just kind of deal passive damage to the cats in the meantime. So, talk real quick about the radar. In the top right, you'll see that I have a circle. That means I am in radar range of all of these Zoids. It means I can actually click right trigger and lock onto them. If I'm out of range, you'll see it'll just be a square mini-map. So it actually changes shape when it changes to being in radar range, which is a really nice visual indicator. We want to lock onto just about everything. There are a couple exceptions, namely in the next level. We won't be locking on for quite a bit, just because of the way the camera works in that level. It's kind of gross if we lock on too much. But for the most part, we're going to lock onto our enemies. Hopefully we've gone fast enough we don't get an extra cat spawn here. We might have left one dead for too long. And excuse me? There we go. Alright, we're good. So,
Mission accomplished.
real quick, let's talk about what the world record progression has been for this game, specifically this category. When I first started playing this game, the world record was in like 55 minutes, so many seconds by Zara. He did most of the routing. I have borrowed really heavily from him. I've added my own stuff, obviously, but big shout out to him again. He's the OG king of this game. But it was like 55 minutes for this category, and I have brought that down now in practicing for this event to sub 40 minutes. So in the past 6 months or so, closer to 8, this game has come down by 15 minutes. It's awesome. It's been a great time. I really appreciate everybody that comes and hangs out in my streams, watches me play this silly little game from my childhood. I wasn't paying attention, I missed the jump, but that's okay. I was busy squishing. This level, by the way, very scary. In fact, in my splits, I call it Scary Gale, because the Zoid at the end of this level, this really long corridor, is something called the Lord Gale. And the first 3 or 4 world records this game had all had a death in this mission to that Zoid. It has killed many a run. It's very scary, hence why I call it the Scary Gale. But we will hopefully not be dying to it today. This is another mission where we can just get absolutely wrecked by the RNG, because these Chimeras don't have to run at me. They can just choose to run away and go to the very end of the corridor, and life is terrible when they do that, because there's nothing I can do about it. You'll notice, like I said before, that I'm not really locking on in this... Oh, shoot. That was a bad choice. It worked out fine. Everything's fine. I'm not really locking on in this level, and the reason is, with how tight the walls are in this place, a lot of times my camera angle gets really weird when I lock on. So I choose to just let it stay behind me, like, by default. That's early. Cool. Oh, one of the Chimeras ran away. Oh, you'll get to see some bad art. Oh, no, he's right there. Okay, cool. So this orange thing floating at me menacingly is called the Lord Gale, and it's terrifying. It is the main boss of this run. It is the final op. Where did this thing go? Alright, I'm going to go chase this Chimera real quick before he gets too far away. Hopefully the Gale follows us, which it looks like he is. So yeah, normally this thing is actually in front of the Lord Gale, and it's coming at me with it. This time it decided not to do that, and we're going to lose some time because of it. But it could have been worse. It could have run to the very end of the level. And since this is such a long hallway, we would have lost a ton of time that way. Alright, now that everything else is dead, I'm going to lock onto the Lord Gale, just so I don't lose sight of it. It's a very scary... Oh, that's exactly why it's scary, is that melee right there. I got caught on the wall for just a quarter of a second, and it took out half my health. So, this thing's AI loves to melee. Anytime I'm in range, that's what it wants to do. So, really the safest way to take it out is to make sure I always am using my booster, because if I'm using my booster, it will miss. If it's facing away from me or something, I can get away with not using my booster, and I'll be able to deal a little bit more damage that way. But this is just by far the safest way to deal with this thing. Alright, cool. We got through without a death. We lost a little bit of time because of bad luck, but that's fine.
Mission accomplished.
Alright. So this is the last mission in the game. We're going to fight a Zoid called the Mad Thunder. Time is going to be when we see mission complete at the end of this level. I'll give you a heads up, Shrimp. But we're going to use our last Zoid of the run. We're going to do our last switch because you can't melee bosses. It doesn't work well. There are a couple exceptions in the battle mode speedrun, actually, but in general, you don't want to be meleeing these things. So we're going to switch to a Zoid called the Griffin. And the thing about the Griffin is it is made of paper. It is very, very weak. But it has the Eagle Cannon, which does the most damage of any weapon we have available. It's not the strongest weapon in the game, but we don't have the strongest weapon available. So what I'm doing is I have equipped a shield for the first time in this run, and I am going to use that as a safety net. And then we're basically just normal boss fight mechanics. This thing loves to shoot at me right away, so we have to dodge right away. So one of the main drawbacks of the Eagle Cannon is its animation. It covers so much of my screen that sometimes it's hard to see the shots coming in, which is why we have the shield. If we react... Ooh, I almost got hit there. That little air cannon thing on its back hurts me a lot. We don't like it. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Thank you. Ooh, we shielded just in time there. Okay, that's it. Alright, so time is when mission complete shows up on the screen. And time.
Mission accomplished.
40:53, not a bad run. So 40:53 is actually about... It's a little less than a minute off world record right now, so we're super pleased with that. World record had absolutely fabulous luck and fantastic splits all the way through, so we are super thrilled with that. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Thanks for supporting. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, hope to come back next year. Yeah, I think that's about it for me. That was a pretty good run. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, CWolf, for doing that. That was a very fun run to watch.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Thank you for everyone who's still watching. Yep, not a problem. Thank you to everyone who's still watching the stream as well. You guys are great. We're going to start setting up for the next run, which is Data Live by Gens. So we'll get that all set up and we'll be right back.